right, welcome back. It's a Tuesday afternoon. I'm here at my teaching studio in Northern Kentucky, and I was going to do another video in the series of better understanding intervals. And the actual series is called Most Guitar Players Don't Understand Intervals, and this is why. So today I'm going to talk about thirds. I made a really long video a few weeks ago where I tried to do a big overview, but now I'm trying to do short, very specific, explaining some of these ideas. So whenever we talk about the interval of a third, that what we're talking about is an interval that actually involves 3 letters in its spelling. This is very confusing because the words major and minor, and the words third, fourth, fifth, sixth as an example, they're used a lot in music theory for different areas. And because of this, the overlap, it makes it very confusing. There's a few things that really help to explain it. If you remember that it's a very archaic system that dates all the way back to the Greeks, I always say it was invented by Pythagoras, that's very useful. Also, the words major and minor basically mean bigger and smaller, or more common and less common. Major is the bigger and the more common, and minor is the smaller and the less common. Those are Latin words. That knowing the intervals, it's so important. It's, you know, I'm always trying to think of these good analogies, but I imagine if you were a delivery driver, and I used to work at UPS. I was also a bike messenger, so it was really important that I understood the address. But so commonly I see people in my lesson studio and they don't have a clear idea of how the intervals work and the naming of the intervals. And it's kind of like if you were trying to make deliveries and you were just trying to remember maybe the color of the door on the street of who the person who was supposed to receive the package, as opposed to having the actual number. Whenever you know the number, it's very easy to make it match up. So whenever we talk about intervals of a third, or intervals that involve thirds, there's always 2 components in the naming of the intervals. There's the number, and in this case that's third. And the number means there's going to be 3 letters involved. And so I have this printout that I made and it just shows the basic, it shows the letters that are used to name pitches in music. So if you were going to do an interval of a third and you were going to start on A, you would use A, B, and C. Now, whenever you play the interval, you only play the first and the last interval. So we have 3 letters, A, B, and C, but we would play A and we would play C. If you wanted to do an interval of a D, if you started on D, you would use D, E, and F. And so you would play D and F. That would be the interval of a third. Now, during the Renaissance era, sharps and flats were introduced, and those were able to move a note. A sharp moves it up a higher pitch. I say up like this because when you move on the string closer to the bridge, the string gets shorter, the pitch gets higher. If you move away from the bridge, the string gets longer and the pitch gets lower. So the sharp and flats are added. If you take a sharp and you add a sharp to any note, doesn't matter what it is, you move it 1 fret. Well, it doesn't matter. You can only add a sharp to a natural note, which is a note like just the letter A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. You actually can add a sharp to a note that's already sharp. That's called a double sharp. It's very uncommon unless you're playing classical music, but it does exist. You cannot add a sharp to a flat note. The reason why is because if you were playing D and you made it D flat, then you added a sharp to it, you would just be back to D, and that gets this natural sign. It cancels out. If you had a flat and you added a sharp, you actually would add the natural, which cancels it out. So we're going to talk about the thirds. Let's talk about some intervals. So first off, we know if we're going to do thirds, and in this case we're going to do major and minor thirds, because that's I have this, I call this, you'll notice, it says Lou's Music Theory Toolkit. So I think of this as my toolkit, just like if I was a carpenter, this would be my measuring tape. And so, but this also has some points of reference on it, and it shows the numbers of half steps in the certain interval names. Now, if you look at this chart, you'll see that for the thirds, there's only two types. You can only have a minor or a major third. That's true for seconds, thirds, sixths, and sevenths. They can be minor or major. For the fourths and the fifths, you can have diminished, perfect, or augmented. So we're going to do major and minor thirds. So you ask, there are two of them. We're going to start with A, and we're going to see why. Because we're going to start here with A, and when we move to the right on our chromatic circle, we have A, and then when we come up here to C, there's actually two kinds of Cs. There's a C natural, which is just the C, and there's a C sharp, and in the same block, there's a D flat. Now, C sharp and D flat, they sound the same. These are called enharmonic equivalents. But one thing that is important to understand is that they don't play the same rule whenever you're counting intervals. Because if you start on A, and if you were going to go to D flat, if you count how many letters that is, A, B, C, D, that's 4 letters. And so A to D flat would be some type of a fourth, not a third. The very first part that you have to reconcile when counting your intervals is that step 1 is you count the letters. So an interval of a third from an A is going to be A and some type of C. So it can be A and C natural, or it can be A and C sharp. Those are the only two options. And we can look, if we start on A and we go 1, 2, 3, that's our distance traveled. And that gives, back here to our reference sheet, if we look at the minor third, it's 3 half steps. And if we look at the major third, it's 4 half steps. So whenever I have my sheet here, I know this. If I go A to C, which is 3 letters, and then I go 1, 2, 3, 3 half steps, that's a minor. If I go A to C, that's 3 letters, but I go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, then it's going to be C sharp. That's going to be a major third. So now we're going to play a few of these. And before I play them, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play A on every string. That's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to play A. So string 6, fret 5. This is A. How did I find this? I used this tool, which is my chromatic circle. I know that the string 6 is an E string. So if I want to find an A, I go to the E, and going clockwise, I count the blocks to get to A. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's 5 blocks to get to A. So now I go open, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the 5th fret, this is A. And I do know this is A. I have this memorized. I could also put this tuner on. You know, so it says A. On string 5, what I want to do is I'm playing the 5th fret on string 6, and I have my magic numbers. The magic numbers are -5 and +7, and you always bump it up on string 2. So I'm going to go 5 minus 5, that's 0. So on string 5, if I play 0, that's A. If I go 5 plus 7, it's 12. If I play string 5 fret 12, that's A. So here I have string 5 open, that's an A note. If I go -5 or +7, well, I can't go 0, -5. That would put me way down here. So instead, I'm going to go 0 plus 7. So fret 7 on string 4, that's an A. So now from 7, I go 7, -5. So 7 minus 5 is 2. So on string 3, it's the next string, A. So I go 2. So to find A on the adjacent string, which is string 2, I'm going to bump it up a fret. So I'm going to go 2 plus 7, which is 9, and then I'm going to bump it up 1 fret. That's 10. Now on string 2, I'm at fret 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. and it shows me A. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to play the minor thirds. The minor third is the shorter interval, and the minor third is 3 half steps. So the way that we're going to do this is I'm going to take my index finger and I'm going to put it on A, and then I'm going to put 1 finger per fret. With 1 finger per fret, A is my starting point, and so if I'm going to measure this, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. So if you notice, this is called playing in position. I have 1 finger per fret. If I have my index finger on A, then the minor third, which is C, is going to fall right under my 4th finger. This is going to be true every time on every string. If the root note is under my index finger and I play in position 1 finger per fret, my 4th finger will always be a minor third. This is A, this is C. We'll go to the next string, fret 12. A, C. Go to the next string, fret 7. A, C. Go to the next string, fret 2. A, C. 1 finger per fret. Go to the next string, bump it up, and we'll go to 10. So again, I'm just putting 1 finger per fret, and I play my 1st finger, my 4th finger. Then on the last string, which is string 1, I play 5. So now, this next part is the part that's so important, that if you get a mastery of this, this allows you to easily transition across the strings. Last week we did major and minor seconds. Now, today we're doing major and minor thirds. You can play pentatonic scales, most of your normal scales. I'm 100% convinced that 99.9% of the people that are really great professional guitar players have a complete mastery of this. They can visualize it, they know the finger patterns, they know exactly where they're going. That whenever, the reason why it looks like their playing is so effortless is because they have a very clear understanding of what they're doing. It's like if you're driving home, walking home, you just know exactly where you're going. You don't need to constantly stop and look at a map or look at street signs. You've been going there for years. You know exactly where you're going. So now we're going to take this. So I did play 5 and 8. And I'm going to figure out this 8 is the C. How can I move this to the next string? Well, guess what? I can take 8 and I can use my magic numbers. I can subtract 5. That's going to be 3. So now I'm going to, watch what I'm going to do. This is the note C, and this is, here's my discovery. If I put my index finger on the minor third, which is C, that I can put my ring finger on the root note A. So now I'm going to put my ring finger on string 6, fret 5, and I'm going to put my index finger on the next, on 3, on string 5. So I have string 6, fret 5, A, and then string 5, fret 3, that's my C. I'm going to take the same pattern. I'm going to find A on string 5. I put my ring finger there, finger 3. My index finger is going to play 1 finger per fret, and I'm going to do the index finger on the adjacent string. And there's my, and this is Brahms' Lullaby. Whenever you do your music training, ear training in school, oftentimes you learn. So there's my A and my C. Now A, string 4, fret 7. Hopefully you've remembered where the A is. We've done this several times. And then C is going to be index finger on the adjacent string. Now I'm going to, I don't want to use the open string just to keep my finger patterns consistent. So I'm going to move down here. And this wouldn't be an open string. Look what's going to happen. Then I'm going to go, I'm going to bump it up a fret. I can do it down here. 2. Notice what I'm doing. I'm scooting my index finger up closer. I'm bumping it up on string 2. Then on string 2, fret 10, that's A. And there's my So this is the minor third. So and so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the major thirds. So with the major thirds, I have my chart here. It says a major third is 4 half steps. I'm starting on A. I can come over here and I go 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to choose either C sharp or D flat. C sharp is the letter. A to C sharp is the major third. So I'm going to start on A, and now look what happens. Remember, I have 1 finger per fret, and the 4th finger, this falls right over C, which is the minor third. So to play the major third, I'm going to need to stretch. This is called extended position. As opposed to having 1 finger per fret, I'm stretching 1 finger higher, 1 fret higher. So I'm going to go 5, 9. That's the sound of the major third. Now I'm going to move to the next string. On the next string, it's either the open or the 12, so I'm going to go to 12. So I put 1 finger per fret, and then I stretch 1 fret higher. Come to the next string, 1 finger per fret, and then I stretch. Come down here, 1 finger per fret, then I stretch. Come to the next one, 1 finger per fret, and then I stretch. A and C sharp. Come to the first string, 1 finger per fret, and then I stretch. Now, here's one of the things where practicing your intervals really starts to help you reconcile how the notes fall on the guitar and be able to visualize where you're going. That whenever we were playing the minor third, we were using our 3rd finger on the A and putting our index finger on the C. Well, now we're playing C sharp, so it's going to be 1 fret higher on the adjacent string. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my middle finger. Anytime I play a major third, I'm going to take my middle finger, I'm going to put that on the root, and then the major third is going to be 1 fret down on the adjacent string. So if the root is on string 6 fret 5, the major third is on string 5 fret 4, 1 fret lower. So I got middle finger, index finger. I'll move to the next string, fret 12. Oh, then it's going to be fret 11. It's going to be the 4 frets. String 4 is going to be fret 7. So on the 3rd string, it's going to be 6. Now this is where it gets tricky. On string 3 to 2, if I do this, you notice I'm playing both in the same. This is a great way to do it for this practice. To actually think, well, I'm going to put here, be conscious. I'm going to move my finger up 1 fret. I'm going to bump it up. But in real life, a lot of times whenever we're playing shows or just playing songs, that sometimes we'll cheat and do a bar because it's a little bit easier. Then the last major third. All right, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to go back and I'm going to play all the A's. I'm going to do it very quickly, but I'm going to play A on every string. Fret 5, plus 7, 12, minus 5, 7, minus 5, 2, plus 7 is 9, bump it up, string 2, 10, 10 minus 5. There it is. I played the A on every string. Next, I'm going to play the minor thirds, starting on my index finger. So I'm going to start on every A. I'm going to play in position. So I'm going to play 5 and 8. 5, 8. Next string. 12 and 15. Next string. 7 and 10. String 3. Fret 2 and 5. String 2, fret 10 and 12, 10 and 13. String 1, 5 and 8. Now I'll do the same ones on adjacent strings. I'll say string 6 root, it's going to be fret 5 and then fret 3 on the adjacent string. String 5 root is 12, negative 2 is going to be 10. On string 4 I play fret 7. I'm going to find the minor third 2 frets lower on 5. On string 3 I can play fret 2. Look what I'm going to do, I'm going to bump it up 1, so it's going to be fret 2 and fret 1. And then on string 2 it's fret 10 and the minor third is on 8. Now I'm going to do the major thirds. The major thirds involve a stretch. So I put my fingers, one finger on each fret, I stretch. There's a major third. Go to 12, 1 finger per fret, stretch up 1, up to 16. Go to 7. So 1 finger per fret, my little finger's right over 10, I'm going to stretch to 11. Go to 2, 1 finger per fret, my little finger's over 5, stretch up to 6. Come down here, string 2, fret 10. My little finger's over 13, I'm going to stretch up to 14. This is a very important interval for playing major chords, arpeggios, major pentatonic. Then the last one's 5. I'm going to stretch. Now I'm going to do those same major third intervals on adjacent strings. So I'm going to start with my middle finger. I remember this. I had already figured this out. Middle finger on fret 5. The third is going to be, if this is 5, it's going to be negative 1 fret, so it's going to be 4 on the adjacent string. Then 12 and 11. 7, 6. Here I'm going to go 2, and it's also 2. I had to bump it up. And then on string 2, fret 10. There's all of my major thirds. Now, whenever I was referencing the how important this element is in a minor pentatonic scale, if you play a minor pentatonic or a major pentatonic, a minor pentatonic is a combination of major thirds and major seconds. And my lesson that I did before this one, I did just major seconds, and the lesson before that I did all of the intervals. So if I look at an A minor pentatonic, I have the root note A, the next note is the minor third, I'm doing it on the same string. The next note is a whole step, which is a major second, so I just move my index finger down, then another major second, then a minor third, and then a major second. So there's a limitless ways, and you'll see with professional guitar players, you'll see them doing this lots of different ways. I can go start with my third finger, and I'm gonna do my minor third, which we learned today. Then I do a major second, I'm gonna do it on the same string. I'm gonna do another major second on the same string. Then I'm gonna do a minor third on the adjacent string, and then a major second. So I have this. I always joke with students and tell them that I call that the Billy Gibbons scale. That's the reason why the first time I really saw somebody that played primarily out of that, it was Billy Gibbons. But it's very common, lots of people do it. So there are other options. I could just make up an option where if I wanted to, I could go root, minor third, whole step, minor third, whole step. You notice how I'm like. This is where you see those chord grids and people say, oh, you need to memorize all of these patterns. I'll go on the record and say I do not believe that the professional guitar players are thinking of these patterns whenever they're soloing or making up riffs. That in my experience, it's a little bit more complicated than that. The pattern simplifies it to the point where it doesn't work very well. That you're back to my analogy of your UPS delivery driver and you're trying to remember the color of the door that matches different people's names. It doesn't really work. Instead, what you need is the specific address. So that whenever you know the actual note and you're playing across a chord progression, whenever the chord changes to a new chord, you can be aware of, you might already be playing that chord, you might just have to move up to the next note in the scale. But when you're just playing a pattern back and forth, a lot of times people sound a little lost. So that's the, if you have any questions, I love it. People are starting to leave some comments. I'm starting to get a few more subscribers, which is really great for making lessons. If you want to take private lessons, I teach in the Cincinnati area, but I also do virtual lessons pretty much anywhere you have internet. You can take some virtual lessons. So like and subscribe, please. The subscribers, it ends up, is really important to my videos moving up a little bit in the way that YouTube puts them up there for people to see. So if you're liking my content, leave me a comment. If you have any questions, I'll try to. Today I played my normal Telecaster. Somebody had commented that my heavy metal guitar sounded a little bit distorted and it was hard to hear the intervals. My Charvel has, which is a really great guitar, it's really easy to play, but it has super hot, has Fishman pickups that have a battery, and they have a really high output, and it causes my amp to distort because it's just the output of the guitar is a lot more millivolts than what the amp was designed to see. So that's what's supposed to happen. It's a heavy metal guitar. Even without distortion, it's supposed to be a little bit distorted. So, all right. Have a great day. Thank you.